Hey guys, welcome to day 3 of the Coach My Life Volume 3 Anthology. Listen, I am your vision coach, LaToya Early, helping Christian female startup coaches do 3 major things in their coaching business. I help you discover and master your message. I help you massively increase your online visibility with your words, and I help you monetize your coaching programs through our on-demand coaching and content niche certification program. Listen, I am so excited. I hope that you are just as excited with me. You know, it is our time. It is our time to talk about the Coach My Life Anthology. We are with one of Chase's great vets. How about that? One of our amazing coaches, Diana English, and she's going to talk about the matters of the heart. And so, what I want you ladies to do is, I want you to take the time and I want you to share this broadcast. Share this broadcast with your audience. Share this broadcast with people who you feel could benefit from this, so that we can share this information, so that we can share this out. I am excited about today's discussion as we go forth and share, just giving more information about being a parent, being a mother. So listen, go ahead and share this out on your platforms. Go ahead, if you want to share this in your groups, if you want to share this on your social media platform. We are super excited to share this content with you and your audience. So while we are doing our sharing out and getting ourselves prepared, I want to invite all of the single moms to come on in and share this fantastic experience with us, so that we can pour some love and some encouragement in you on today. I'm super excited. We're with Renovation Coach Diana English, and she's going to really share with us, first of all, her position in coaching and what she does as a coach. But what is it that she do for moms? What is it that she does for single moms? What is it that she does for single moms with daughters, and specifically? So one of the things that I love, and you ladies know, is I'm always talking about narrowing your niche and being specific on the problem that you're called to solve in your coaching business, and talking about whose problem that you're called to solve. And so one of the areas that Renovation Coach Diana is going to talk about is that problem, solving that problem that some moms may have, with the relationship between their daughters, with the relationship between them, their daughters, and their children's father. And so I'm excited about today's discussion, because it's going to really give us the opportunity to open up the floor and to really create dialogue around this matter. This is one of the matters that we talk about all the time in silence to our girlfriends in the back rooms. But do we really stand up and say, listen, I need to go through this process so that I can create a better life for my child and for my family? So come on in, make sure you're coming in, sharing who you are. Let us know that you are joining us on this fantastic Wednesday night. We are in day 3 of the Coach My Life Anthology, the pre-launch. And so I'm excited, because on December 5th, we're going to have our virtual book launch, December 5th at 11 a.m. There is a link available for you. The link is in the caption. If you have not already registered for the virtual book launch, I encourage you to register for the launch. We are going to spend the afternoon training and really sharing 5 amazing proven strategies for you to win during a pandemic. So I hope that you take the time to register for this live event, so that you can get all of the nuggets, all of the love that we have for you on tonight. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's live experience. I wanted to grab my notes so that I can make sure that I am asking all of my good questions, and I don't forget to leave anything out as Diana and I go forth on tonight. So I would love for Diana to open up the floor and share with us, what type of coach are you, Diana? First of all, before we go there, welcome. This is your night. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to really share who you are as a coach, share what you do, and talk about your contribution to volume 3 of the Coach My Life Anthology. And so I'm excited to share this message with the moms. I'm excited to share this message with the community. And I'm excited to introduce you to the moms who are looking for you, because there are moms who are definitely needing your services. So, what type of coach are you, and who do you serve?
Okay, thank you so much, LaToya, for that amazing introduction. I am renovation coach Diana English, and I specialize in helping single moms tear down walls that they have created to hide the true identities and the matters of their heart. And I get asked a lot, why did I pick renovation? Because I want you guys to know that when I come, I'm coming in to disrupt your found disrupt your pattern. I'm coming in to shake your foundation, because sometimes I love watching home improvement shows, and sometimes we look at our lives like that. We be so broken inside, and we put on makeup, we put on clothes, and we take care of the outsides phenomenally, but we destroy, we let the inside of us, our insides destroy us. And sometimes we be thinking that we look good, but sometimes the issues and the matters of our heart pours out into us outwardly, like our behavior, our personality. And it's so I'm coming in, I'm gonna be, so if you got some mold, we get into the root of where that mold came from. We pulling that mold out, and we're replacing it with new and better things. And the reason I did this, because I have two teenage daughters, and when I was growing up, I took psychology class because I said I want to get to understand daughters before I have to understand daughters, because I just like the stereotype, like, oh, you got daughters, I know you're probably ready to pull your hair out. And that's not my testimony. I have amazing daughters, and it's based on how I raised them. So that was another thing. I want us to change the trajectory of how people look at teenage daughters. They automatically assume that they're ratchet, they're smelling themselves and stuff like that. And that's not my testimony. And it was based all in, I think, in how I raised my daughters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I love is Diana has a group. She has a Facebook group, and so once we are all done with tonight's live experience, I want Diana to go into the comments and drop the link to her group. She has a group for moms. It's called A Mom's Touch, and so in this group, she gives the platform or offers the platform for the other moms to show up and to talk about their children and to connect with other moms, because it is her desire, from what I see, from what I've learned from Diana over the past several years that Diana and I have been working together. What I've been able to see is her passion to support moms, her passion to assist moms in breaking down those barriers and removing some of those layers and that limited thinking that we have when it comes to raising daughters. And so I wish my mom was on here so she can give her two sentences, because she did raise two daughters. And I'm not going to say that I was the easiest because listen, thank God for deliverance. But I will say that because of how she raised me, it's because of who I am today. So I do commend, moms who are raising daughters and moms who are supporting, other friends or sisters who have daughters. My sister have a daughter. I don't have a daughter, but my sister does. And so I'm just like, oh, it takes a village. And so I'm glad to know that you're offering this type of services to single moms or to moms in general. So I want you to, after having the opportunity to, take a look at your contribution to the project and just learning more about you. I want you to share with our audience a quick synopsis on what your chapter will be about. What will your readers be looking forward to once they purchase the book?
So my chapter is called "What's in the Heart," but what I did is I hit on two different things. I hit on forgiveness, and I also hit on lost and found. And so, because I need you guys to understand that God is our heavenly Father, and so if we're not aligned with Him the right, it's a trickle down effect. And so I had a hard time building a relationship with my heavenly Father. It trickled down into me having a personal relationship with my father, and then I attracted men's in places that my father didn't want me to be. And so I had to
It looks like we lost you, Diana. It looked like you muted yourself. Nope, you're still muted.
important it is to have a solid foundation with your father. And it also talks about how if you don't have a good relationship with your father, fix that relationship. And also as well, it's a lot of women who hate their baby dads or whatever the case may be, and we have to take our responsibility in the case we laid down with them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take our responsibility. And what I learned is once I was able to build a relationship with God and I checked myself, I was able to take my expectations off of how I felt my dad should love me from my perspective. And it was more easier for me to forgive the father of my children. So that's what
Okay,
you,
so let's pause there for a second because we lost sound for a minute. So
yeah.
we wasn't able to, we did. So you were for whatever reason muted. So we missed a nice chunk of what this chapter is going to be about. Now, one of the things, it's okay, it's okay. One of the things though that I was able to gather from what you're saying now is that alignment. And so I want you to talk about that alignment and talk about how important it is for moms, whether or not they're single moms with their children or they're married moms with a child outside of that marriage. What does that alignment with the father have to do with their ability to forgive the father of their children if that father is absent?
So my take on it is you have to know how forgiving you are to forgive someone. God is a forgiving God. And I was in areas of my life, like I said, where I was in church and I was taught to love God out of fear compared to loving God out of love and how sufficient his grace is. So it made me it made me hard to believe his disposition of grace because I was, was taught like, this is why this is not happening to you because you're seeing compared to, hey, God love you so much that these are things that you don't have to do. So,
Okay,
I
wait, hold on. You're pouring too much and you're moving too fast, and I need you to slow down
got you.
because you just said something, and one of our viewers just said that she's interested in this topic because she has a 16-year-old daughter. So
Okay.
one of the things that you just said was is you had to kind of check yourself because you start blaming the absence of the dad, certain issues that you were going through on you.
Um, I I didn't. I said I want us to take our own responsibility as far as people that don't like that, the ones that don't like the fathers of their children. We laid down with them,
Hmm.
so
Okay,
we have to take
okay.
our responsibility in that. We chose them, or they chose whatever the case may be. And we let it happen. But what I learned with so once I learned how to build a relationship with God outside of religion, it made it easier for me to love my dad where he at. My dad, so I come from in my house even today. Like my mom, my daughters, we hug, we kiss all day. We leave out the house, we hug, we kiss. And those were the expectations that I was expecting from my dad. I didn't get those things. And I would be disappointed because I thought that he was supposed to treat me as my mom did. That wasn't
Wow.
the issue. So once
Hmm.
I said, and I met my dad's mom once, and when I met her, she wasn't a affectionate person. Like it was like, oh hey, you my granddaughter. Well, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? So and so I seen, okay, now my dad doesn't have that to give me. So who am I to put my expectations on him, expect him
Wow.
to uphold those expectations, and then get mad when he don't? So once I took my expectations off of how I felt my dad should love me, it made life easier. I had to meet him where he is. And then once
Got
I
it.
did that, it made it easier because God had forgiven me as my heavenly father. I had forgave my father for what he couldn't give me. It made it easier for me to forgive not only the fathers of my children, but all the men that I allowed to take advantage of me because I wasn't in right
Mm.
position in the beginning.
Okay, so what you telling me, okay, I'm getting ready to reiterate what you just said. So what you're telling me, and for all of the single moms who is holding all of this resentment, all of this unforgiveness, all of this bitterness towards the father of their children because of their absence, that we should stop um blaming, although they are, men and they should be responsible,
Absolutely.
but we need to try to look at the picture where what if they didn't have it in their lives and they don't know how to, versus what they're not doing. So you're saying let's change the perspective on how we're looking at the absent father, and instead of blaming him, let's get in alignment with our heavenly father so that we can forgive him, pray for him, and so that that healing process can take place.
Absolutely. And then it also makes it easier for you as a parent, because I've seen it so many times where moms, because of the resentment or the dislike that they have for their father, they don't allow the fathers to be in the children's life. They've taken the focus off the child and they made it about them. When that baby came into place, it's not about them anymore. So one thing I always done in my house, we don't bash dads. Your impression of your father is your own. I got a lot of words I want to say, but I'm not going to share them with you because I want you to have, because I knew how it felt for my dad not to be. My dad was, he lives in Ohio, but he wasn't there all the time. So I knew how it felt not to have your dad in your life. And I didn't want that for my daughters. However, I had seen it was becoming a generational thing. Like my dad wasn't really in my life. And now here I am, I'm raising my daughters and their dads are not in their life. So that's one thing I never did. Your dad is your dad. And the Bible say, honor thy mother and thy father. It didn't say how they treat you, you honor them. That's one thing that we do. We honor thy mother and thy father. And now they're old enough to see what they dads are what their dads are for themselves, and I can say it wasn't
Ah,
because of me, you know.
okay, okay. So I like this. So you're saying that, and I love this discussion because again, this is one of those discussions that we have a hard time having, with moms who where the father is absent. Because the first thing we want to do is we want to, point blame at the father. And again, this is not to excuse or to
Absolutely.
justify the absence of fathers.
Right.
Over the last two, days, we've been talking about how a lot of the rooted issues that women have is because of fatherlessness, is because of the absent father. And so I'm not at all saying that, we should excuse the man, or that,
Hmm.
we shouldn't hold them to any type of accountability. What it sounds like you're saying is that you help moms release themselves from that resentment, from that bitterness, because forgiveness does not hurt the person that needs forgiveness. It hurts the person who needs to forgive. And so
Absolutely.
once you're holding on to that bitterness, that resentment, you're limiting your own life, not theirs. And so I love to have this type of dialogue, because I know that there are, moms out there who are fussing at us right now, like fussing at us for having this type of perspective. But one thing I can say is the longer you hold on to that bitterness and that resentment, the longer or the more potent it becomes in your children. And so,
Yep.
one of the things that you just said is that you've given your daughters the opportunity to create their own idea of their dad. I'm going to let you form your own opinion without you pushing, your personal feelings on them. And I think that that's really brave, and I think that's really strong. And so I appreciate that. So to talk more about the chapter, when we talk about who is this chapter for, can you give us a more in detail? We know that it's moms, with children, but can you give us a more detailed version of who could really benefit from this chapter?
um so it can be a twofold. It can be anyone that's dealing with any type of forgiveness, even if it's starting with yourself. So it talks about that, and it talks about anyone who has ever been in a place where they felt that God was so far from them that they couldn't find him. I also talks about that, because in January, the message that God gave me in that book, the devil almost tried to make me lose my mind not to tell that story. So, like I said, but it was all because I was building my relationship with God, and the information that God was giving to me. It was an experience with God I had never had, and the information was coming so fast, I didn't know what to do with it. And my reality and the things that he was showing me in my reality collided with each other, and it landed me in the psychiatric unit because it scared my family because it was unnormal behavior that they hadn't seen for me. So it's for the ones that feel like they're lost and God don't hear them or he's not there. And it's also for anyone that needs any type of forgiveness. And mainly what I'm going to do, my chapter is not going to be for everybody because you have to be in a position where you're completely ready to surrender your heart to God, because that's what I'm doing. I'm showing you how to train your heart to hear what God is saying.
That's so good. That's so good. And one of Diana's coaching programs is training the ear
To hear.
to hear, right? And so training the ear to hear, because what we do is we hear what we want to hear. We hear what's going to pacify us or what's going to help us, but are we hearing what God has to say for us? And I think that forgiveness of an absent father, whether or not it's your father or your child's father, that level of forgiveness takes a lot of digging. It takes a lot of searching. It takes a lot of deliverance. It takes a lot of freedom, because there are a lot of emotions that are really buried down into that type of hurt. And so to know that you are here to support those women, it really adds value to moms and adds value to them growing and building that type of relationship with their children. So I absolutely love that. Okay, so your chapter is for people who are in a space of unforgiveness. They're struggling with unforgiveness, and you want to help them address the matters of their heart. You want to help them not only forgive themselves, but forgive again their fathers or even the fathers of their children.
Right.
Okay, okay. And so let's talk about the problem that you're going to solve, for the reader. When you sit down and you say, this is the problem that I'm looking to solve for the reader of this chapter, what would that look like?
Um, the problem, I want to bring it back to them examining them, because I love that you teaches us every time there's a root to everything. So if it's a mom and she's having a issue with unforgiving of her baby father, there's still a root to why she's having a a reason why she can't forgive that father. So we need to get to the root of why she can't forgive in the first place? Is it because of something that happened to her in her childhood? Is it because of her father wasn't there, her mother wasn't there? Is it because of her upbringing? Well, but I'm turning the attention back to ourselves, because so many
That's
times
so good.
we blame it on other people without looking at ourselves. So it's gonna put you in a place where you have to see what was my responsibility in this, and what is the root of it, of what's causing it, because I think sometimes we don't understand how internal things affect us outwardly in so many different ways, and
Absolutely.
we walk around like people don't see it. It might not come out in your life this way, but it will come out in another way down the line. And another thing that I love is because sometimes we can be grown women, but we're broken little girls, and if we never fix that
Wow.
broken little girl, we're constantly so like I said, I was a broken little girl because I lost my first baby, and I only wanted to have that baby to feel loved. And so then I got pregnant with my second baby. I grew my baby in my brokenness. She grew 9 months in my brokenness. I had her out of brokenness. I brought her into the world, and I was raising her in my brokenness, because when you broke, like your I think your sight of things are diminished or tainted because of your brokenness. So she grew in brokenness. I was raising her in brokenness. And then a lot of times I was breaking my kids because of my brokenness.
Wow.
So we have to do it. It's a trickle
Wow.
down effect. And if we don't interrupt the pattern continues.
And you know what? Oh my goodness. You know what? And I think that a lot of times we think that because I don't outwardly express brokenness or because I've pushed it under the rug, that our children won't still be affected by it. And
Hmm.
so one of the things, I don't know if you remember, but we went through a rejection recovery. You went
Hmm.
through it with us.
I
So
did.
going through that rejection recovery, you remember we had to find out the root. Where was that initial, where did that initial rejection happen? Where did it start? And so for some of us, it started in the womb when
Hmm.
our parents said, I don't even want this kid, or oh my gosh, or maybe, contemplated abortion, or maybe, contemplated adoption, or whatever the case was. That first form of rejection started there. And so what I love about what you just said is the brokenness. You grew your child in your womb in brokenness. You birthed your baby in brokenness. And if it wasn't for you saying, you know what, I need to heal in these areas, or my child is going to directly or indirectly be affected by this brokenness, then I'll never break the generational curse. That's so deep. And I like, I'm just so excited for the women who's going to have the opportunity to read your story and connect with you, because I strongly believe that we're so, as you just stated, we're so accustomed to blaming someone else.
Hmm.
One of the things that you said at the top of this, you said, listen, you laid down with that person. Like you knew some of the habits and characteristics of that person when you laid down with them. The problem is that you assumed that they will change, that things will
Yeah.
be better. I, no one can say that there wasn't a red flag somewhere, right? But did we take that red flag? Did we say, hold on, there's a red flag, let me pay attention to that? And so now, instead of you blaming that person or blaming their family, let's look at self. Your program, your chapter is about self-examination so that I can heal, because it doesn't matter what someone else did to you. Something that I've learned is that we control our emotions, our thoughts, and our words. And the moment that you allow someone else to make you, or you put your happiness on someone else, or you put your healing on someone else, you have completely surrendered control of you. And so if we're going to do better by our children, we always try to say, I'm doing this so I can make a better life for my child. I'm doing this so that I can make her. Well, if you're going to make a better life for your child, it's not about telling them what to do. It's about healing and becoming a better you first. So
And
that's
I
really, really good.
and I want to say this to the moms as well too, but because of my brokenness, as I also talks about in the book, I had the mentality I can do exactly what a man do. If he cheat, I can cheat better, and I'm
Oh,
gonna be done cheating on you before you cheat on me, and I can't wait to tell you that I cheated. And so I love how God is so amazing how He do things. I'm glad that God blessed me with daughters because they changed my behavior. However, when I became a mom, I wanted to hide all those things. I wanted them to say, "Hey, I'm the best mama you ever met. I ain't never did nothing." And so I created those walls. Like I wanted my daughters to think that I was this perfect mom, because I felt that if they knew how I was, they would feel some type of different way with me. And I'm so glad that I went through your transformational program, because it taught me, hey, those walls that you created is the same walls that you have to tear down. Like, let your daughters in, let them see, because you're giving them a false perception of what life is, and you make them feel that because you're so perfect, you're not going to understand what they're going to. And that's another thing that changed my life. Once I started letting them in and not caring about the things of my past is the things of my past. I can't change those things. And once I did that, it was a whole our total different our relationship changed, because I wasn't trying to be something that I wasn't. Yes, these are things that I have done. I have gotten over them, and they still love me more. Like it didn't change the way they're not going to love you less. They're going to still love you. And that's why I wanted to tell them, like, don't be afraid to let your kids, I'm not saying tell them all your business, but don't be afraid of hiding things that they might eventually find out later. It's better for them to come from your mouth than for them to hear from somebody else.
absolutely. Absolutely. So it's better for us to have that open. I mean, okay, one of the things we know, I'm your mom, I'm not your friend. Okay,
Right. Definitely.
all right. I got that part. But I still want you to know that I'm a woman, that I'm human, that I
Hmm.
understand. And so you saying this makes a lot of sense because of course as children we grow up, we didn't know anything about our parents. I didn't know. I knew they were just my parents and I was supposed to listen to them. And so, of course, as I got older and I start having real grown woman conversations with my mom, I'd be like, I don't hear that. Hold on, stop, right? But I love it because we have that type of relationship where we can have that type of open dialogue. We can talk to each other. And instead of trying to hold back or like you said, keep a secret or be in shame about
Hmm.
what you've done, especially with daughters, we have to have that open dialogue so that we can stop them from having, you can't just say, one of the things, that we talk about is sex. And I know that, we waiting until you're married to have sex is biblical. And
Right.
baby, I didn't understand why it was biblical until I learned Christ. And I said, oh, this is why you said wait until you
Hmm.
get married. But that response to a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old may not be enough for them to understand. But if
Hmm.
you have the conversation, like, listen, when I was 16 years old, these are the things that I did, and these are the consequences that I suffered from. Now you're able to relate. Now I'm able
Hmm.
to transform your way of thinking. Now I can connect with you. And again, like you said, it's not to tell all your business. Your kid don't need to know all your little dirty
Right.
details, but you want them to be you want to connect with them so that you don't make them feel like you're so superior or you're so high that you've never done anything wrong. So
Right.
I really like that suggestion to moms, especially moms. I don't have daughters, but even with my sons, I still want to have that type of open relationship with them. They're little now, but when they turn teenagers, I want them to want to come talk to me and be open with me, but I have to be willing to be open with them as well. So I
Yes.
really like that. Okay, so we've talked about who your chapter is for. We've talked about the problem that your chapter is going to solve for the people. Diana, tell us, why is it that you felt like you should share this message with the world?
Um, because I see it so much in so many women when we having conversations. If 20 women in a room, it's like 15 of them have problems with forgiving. So that was one of the reasons I did that. Another thing I wanted to do is change the trajectory of how people view daughters, because that annoys me when somebody say, oh my god, you got two teenage daughters, I know you pulling your hair off, or I know you got a strong drink. I want to change that, because no, that's not my testimony. It may be yours, but it's not mine. So I want it, because I want to be an advocate for them, that all teenagers and all girls are not bad. It's the it's the thought that's been put in their mind that make them. So that was another reason I wanted to do it, just so we can, if we catch them while they're smaller, I think we'll have less broken girls growing up. So
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I appreciate that. Um, and so with wanting to share this message with the world is really helping moms create a better lifestyle, to create a better approach to, the absence of their children fathers, to forgive them.
yes.
One of the things that I've noticed with that entire dynamic is not only forgiving them, but learning how to pray for them, learning how, because keep in mind that absent father, your child is a product of that absent father. And
Absolutely.
so that we don't continue that generational curse, we have to pray over that child and over the absence of the father, so that that child don't have resentment, so that
Yep.
that child still loves, so that that child doesn't grow up and follow the same footsteps, and not on purpose, because I'm sure even the father may not have meant to be absent. That may not have been his intentional decision, or his original decision rather. But because of that generational curse, we seem to always fall victim of that. So with that being said, from you working with Chase Great and you being a part of the NIT certification program and being a part of this anthology, Tell us about your experience. What have you received out of this experience so far?
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna go back to even when I went through the transformational program that you was offering. Phenomenal, because again, it was the beginning of me looking at me compared to me saying woe is me. It put the it put the spotlight on me to search me and what were my issues and why and what damage it had caused in my life. And I really loved it, your niche certification, because when I first came, I was like, I'm called to young girls, I'm called to young girls. And then you made sense, like, okay, Diana, you can be called to the girls, but you put them in a situation, if they're coming from a broken home and they're going to their moms, you put them in a situation where are they gonna, what you're teaching them is going to oversee what their mom is teaching. So she said, why not start at the head? Because one thing I noticed when I went through transformation, once my daughter started seeing me change, it started changing them. It started changing my mom. I said, okay, so wow, that makes good sense. How about let's start with the mom, or we can do a mom and a daughter thing together, but start with the mom. And so I do love that Chase Great has done that. That's definitely one of the things I really love, because you say be real specific in what it is that you're doing, so we'll know one have a confusion. So like I did say I thought I was called to young girls, but I'm called to the moms. Like, let's hit the mom, let's change the mom's mindset, and then the kids I think be more receptive sometime to, okay, I see this change in my mom, let me change as well. So thank
Absolutely,
you, Chase
absolutely.
Great. Like a phenomenal LaToya. Like, but sometimes I do be wanting you to cuss me out because I be needing a good cuss out, but you don't do that.
I do in my own little way. It may not be as harsh, but I have my.
No, I be needing to say, now, Diana, now you know you trifling. You girl, but, but you don't
I
do that.
cannot.
You be like, Diana, come back, come back, come back. You gonna be like, but at the same time, I love your grace that you give us, and you, like I said, and it's amazing how you see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. And I really definitely, Chase Grace have definitely changed my life in more ways than one. So
I
hats off to
appreciate
you.
that. What about you being an author? One of the things that I'm just excited about is that this is something that you've always, said that you wanted to do. It's something that you wanted to establish for yourself. How has the experience been with you writing your first book?
I'm gonna say it's been great, because procrastination, like me thinking I got more time to do something, I always, and so it feel good. That's one of my things. I start things, and then if I can't see the end result before I start, I don't finish it. And so with this book, I'm glad to say that I finally started something and I didn't stop until it was done. So that's like a good thing for me, to know that if I just put the work in, it can be done, and don't worry about the ladder. Just do the start and then let God prepare the steps for me, compared to me trying to
Hmm.
be him and figure it all out before I have to.
Okay, okay, I love that. Okay, so we have a question. It looks like one of our viewers asked, if that isn't your testimony, how can you assist the ones who have those challenging daughters? Okay, so you know how you were saying, your testimony isn't that you have, fast girls
Mhm.
or out here girls. How do you still, how are you able to still support mothers who may be going through those type of issues with their daughter?
So again, to everything there's a rule. Like, so I would say we would have to, because if you have a daughter, if she's fast, she's doing so, she's
Pause, pause. I want you to say it the way you just got it.
what?
What you get ready to, I know what you get ready to say. I want you to respond to that question, because you were getting ready to say it, but you're trying to clean it up. Say it the way you got it.
Um, the daughter is probably, she's probably acting out because of a root of a issue. Now, because again, sometimes we as parents, we think we know everything. The parent could be the reason why she's being the way that she is, but we don't. we always look at it them. Like, I guarantee you there's a root to what she is. And I'm not saying by far my daughters are perfect. I'm saying is that I had to stop back to see I'm not a mom that know everything. However, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing new under the sun. So we have to try to outsmart them without, you know what I'm saying, like without doing it in a way I'm your mama, you do as I tell you to do it as I say. So it's
Mm-hmm.
so we would
Mm-hmm.
have to like I would have to you would have to sit down to have a conversation with the daughter to see, okay, why are you doing these things? And if you sit her down, or if I can you put the mom and the daughter in the room together, it's going to come out what the issue is or what the root is, just based off their language or just based off the conversation, what the root is. And so we have to figure out why is there an issue. So it can be done. I'm just saying mine's is different because I changed the trajectory because everybody say they this, they that, and they that. And I didn't want that. I didn't want those seeds being sown into me or into my daughter, and I have to raise them. So I changed the
Mm-hmm.
trajectory. I changed the trajectory of that. And it was mainly when I started talking to my daughter more as a more of a more of a, I'm not gonna say compromise. It's more of I hear what you're saying, and then at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, it's still up to me how we interact and deal with what the situation is, without saying, "Oh, okay, you'll be okay," because kids and children go through things as well. So again, what if some of
So,
her daughter, what if some of her daughter issues
mm-hmm.
is was
Mm-hmm.
rooted in her? You know what I'm saying? So, and
It,
I'm
it
not, like I said, I'm
sounds
not
like it sounds like you're saying that if you're having these type of issues with your daughter, you need to check yourself because
absolutely.
because what you're saying is you had to get to the root of self before you were able to further support your daughters, for you to show up
Absolutely.
differently in your daughter lives, for your daughters to not have those different issues that a lot of teenage girls may go through. And it's because Diana checked the root of self first. And so I think, and that's what I heard initially when you started talking is, if you're having, the daughters who, maybe they're struggling with promiscuity, maybe they're struggling with bad behavior, maybe they're struggling with attitude problems, all of these different things that, are stereotypes of a young girl, maybe we need to check self because it came from somewhere. We are
Absolutely.
products of our parents.
Yep.
We're the product of our parents. So if I had a bad attitude at 16, then somebody else probably should have been checking their attitude.
And another thing too, Latoya, like they don't like sometimes some kids feel they don't have an outlet. Or
Yeah,
what if they feel like they can't go to their parent and tell their parent what the real issue is? So they take their outlets into other things. What they're doing is they're getting attention, even if it's the wrong attention. They're doing an outcry, but we overlook that outcry as, oh, they got a bad attitude or they don't want to be, and we're not looking at
that's
how
good.
come. So
That's good. That's good. I love that. So, Diana, please share once again, how can, if we have moms who are looking to learn more about this level, because this is a whole nother level of forgiveness. If they're looking to learn this level of forgiveness, learn different strategies on how to create better communication skills and build better relationships with their daughters, how can they reach you?
they can reach me on Instagram at Diana underscore English underscore. They can reach me on Facebook. My private page is Diana English, and my group is A Mom's Touch. Also, I will be having a program coming out next year called I Forgive Me, Breaking the Cycles of Forgiveness. So those are the things right now. And
I love it. So
with the
make
program, with that program, we can
mhm.
either do it where we start with the moms, or we can do the mom and the daughter, or the daughter. So, but it's gonna be like a two. It can be for a mom and a daughter, or it can be just for the mom. The mom want to start with herself first, so it'll be a twofold thing.
That's gonna be amazing. So listen, make sure you search A Mom's Touch on social media. join the group. It is for moms who are looking to build better relationships with their daughters and really looking to break free from that unforgiveness, from the absence of their children's father. So I'm gonna make sure that Diana puts that link in the comments so that you can click the link and join the group. So Diana, as we wrap up this fantastic discussion, because I could talk about this all night. I have sisters. You know, I love my dad. He recently, well, it's been a year, so he passed away. And you know, in his earlier years, he made a lot of big mistakes when it came to my other siblings. And so we've had this conversation on and on and on and on again. And they always ask me, how did you get this perspective? Like, how do you think this way? And it's because I decided to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to forgive my dad. Yes, my dad, you know, he was in my life, but he wasn't a part of my life. And there's a difference. But I
Absolutely.
decided to forgive him. And something that you said is I learned that his parents weren't great influences when it came to the affection and the love that I wanted as a child. And so I could no longer hold him accountable for something that he didn't know. And if that father if they don't have Christ, listen, you got to forgive, because
Yeah.
without Christ, that type of healing won't take place. So, as we wrap this up, I want you to tell us something. I want you to tell us three things. Now, Kamika owe us one thing. I think Dr. Toya gave us something at the very end. I want you to share three things with us that we cannot Google about you.
Okay, I'm gonna share one bad one. My daughter, I hope they're not on the lie. They're gonna kill me. Um,
They are.
they on the live. I've been to
I don't know, but
jail.
they will.
I've been to jail because I went to do community service twice.
Now that's a whole for real secret that we cannot Google. Wait a minute. So if I go to Otis, I'm gonna see your picture.
Uh-uh. No, because it was for
Oh,
community service. No, that ain't gonna be on the
I'm
internet.
just
Thank
playing.
the Lord.
I'm just playing.
But I did. um,
Hilarious.
another thing is I want to be a philanthropist. I love helping people. So I want to be, when God bless me, I want to be in a position where I give single moms homes and cars. But there will be a program in place so that it'll be a program in place where that'll be the finale of the program. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing is, um, what's another thing? What's another
So,
thing? Let me
so
see.
it looks like you're gonna owe us one too.
I used to, huh?
I said, look, okay, no, go ahead.
I used to be the
I'm,
don't beat me up.
I'm
I used
afraid.
to
I'm
be
afraid of this third one because that
I
first one.
I used to be the weed man's girlfriend. I used to love if they weren't drug
Oh
dealers, I
God.
didn't talk to them. So
Thank you, Lord, for deliverance. Let's all pray and just thank God for the deliverance.
the
Diane.
ones with the jobs wouldn't spend their money, so I had to get the drug dealers.
I cannot listen. This is hilarious. One thing that just cracked me up is she went from extreme to medium to extreme again. So we really didn't know what we was getting ready to get, right? We really didn't know. But you know what? I love it because once again, we need to let people know that because of Christ, I am who I am. Right. And before Christ, I was who I was. And so knowing that that you have daughters, you know, these are some very important things that you want to talk about because you can help them learn by your experiences. So I am excited about that. Make sure you drop your group in the comments so that the women that are catching us can watch you live or join you in your community. I thank you
Okay.
so much. Make sure you click the link in the caption so that you can join us Saturday, December 5th at 11 a.m. for our virtual book launch, where Diana is going to come back before us and she's going to do some training. She's going to offer some strategies on how to, you know, really get to the root of unforgiveness and what are some things that you need to put in place so that you can start to forgive the absence of your child's father? How can you forgive your child's father? How can you not be in love with them again, but how can you love them again? How can you pray for them? What are some things that you need to implement? And this is a real situation for a lot of women. How can you break free from the bondage and the hurt of what their relation brought to your life? So I'm excited about the virtual book launch and hearing Diana really offer her strategies and offer her training from her point of view. So make sure you click the link up in the caption. I'll be sure to drop the link in the comments so that you can register for our free virtual book launch, and make sure you get the book. Listen, make sure you order your copy of Coach My Life Volume 3. This book, if it's not for you, maybe you're not a single mom, maybe your children's father is a part of their lives, maybe you're not struggling with unforgiveness, but I know you know someone, and this will be a perfect gift to send a friend during this season when we're all really conformed to our homes, we're conformed to our children. We've all been shift upside down, over the past 8 to 11 months. So why not go ahead and bless someone with a gift that literally keeps on giving? So join us for 5 ways to win during a pandemic for the virtual book launch December 5th at 11 a.m. And make sure you order a copy of the book, Coach My Life, Volume 3. Order one for yourself and order one for a friend. Have a fantastic night. Diana, did you have anything else to say?
Um, Not really. Just moms, loosen up a little bit. Loosen up.
Because listen,
And
Diana
you
just
have to,
for
and another
what
thing they have to understand, like parenting don't come with a handbook. You write this book as you go based on the child that you have. So
that's good. That's
mhm,
good. And every child is different. Every
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 child is
child is
different.
absolutely. So have a fantastic night. Listen, make sure you join me tomorrow. It is my turn to share with you about my chapter, and I'm excited because
Yay.
my chapter is about how money really do grow on trees. So I'm excited about talking about my chapter, and I'm just going to go into some details about me and why I wanted to write about this and the journey that I'm currently in my business and in my life. So make sure you join me tomorrow, same place, same time, 7 p.m. And I'll see you ladies tomorrow. Have a fantastic night.
Bye bye.